Welcome to another video of Guitars for Old Men. Again, that's what my YouTube says my demographic is. Men over 50, basically. So, hey dudes, we're going to look at two of the best guitars, my favorite guitars, okay, let's say them that way. Two of the guitars that are best for me. And this is just a rare opportunity to do this. So, first guitar over here is a CS Bluegrass 16. It's been on several videos recently. Did a neck reset on it. I talked about the possible effects of a large sound hole on whether the microphone picked it up. And I think maybe I should redo that with a directional mic. This microphone is fairly omni, and that's why I'm using it here, because it picks up my voice from sitting up here, and then it also picks up the guitar. I bet if I did that again with a Shure SM57, something that's very directional, which really is the kind of microphone that you would use on stage anyways, because you would use a more directional mic. Anyway, off topic here. So, this guitar has been in a couple of those videos. I proclaimed it as probably my favorite dreadnought that I have played yet so far, because it just checks off all the boxes for me. It's got a large sound hole, it's got hot rosewood, it's got watermelon rosewood, it's got a red spruce top on it, really nice red spruce top. It now has a long vintage saddle. It originally had a short saddle. I shaved the rear back braces down, which was not stock, and popsicle brace is still in it. I'm going to take the popsicle brace out soon, but it has white binding on the side, and it's just got a fabulous neck on it, which is, people are surprised that I like this. This is the MLO, whatever that is. It is the Modern Players Tapered Action, I don't know. Anyway, it's a fairly slim neck, and I like chunkier necks, but it's not nearly as slim as, say, a D28 1941 Authentic. It's slimmer than an LSV, but the thing that I like so much about this neck is that it's got a great soft V on it, and it's got a super nice taper. The taper is very even up and down the neck, so it feels the same wherever I am. Whatever I can tell you about this neck is this neck feels really, really good to me. If it was just a 10,000th of an inch thicker, it wouldn't bother me at all, but I'm not in any hurry to go change it. It's fabulous. So this guitar just, like I said, checks off all the boxes for me. Okay? So we're going to compare it head to head. I need to move that a little closer to what my number one guitar, my personal number one guitar, a Proulx OM. And if you don't know anything about these, this is a guitar that I designed with Mario Proulx. Roomed with him at IBMA in 2000. That was the first time I'd played his guitars. We talked a lot and everything. His guitars had something different and special about them. And I was looking for somebody to build me a small-bodied guitar. So I convinced him, through a little bit of arm twisting, to build a small-bodied guitar. Because at the time he was building dreadnoughts that are actually thicker than a normal dreadnought. They're half an inch thicker. He wanted these big guitars. And I said, there's a market for small people like me, who are small men and women, who are more serious flat pickers, and they don't want to fight that big dreadnought. And I'll show you some of this in a minute. So we went downstairs, and this is IBMA, so it's a trade show, and we looked at a couple of OMs that were coming close, to what I wanted. The Santa Cruz OM was at the top of the list. The Santa Cruz OM at that time had a terrific V-neck on it, and it was a decent sounding guitar that I probably could have lived with. In the meantime, there's been some other really good OMs come out. I played a Jeff Robertson OM that's on video that was just, wow, it was outstanding. I've had the Bourgeois JOMT, which is not really, it's a jumbo OM, thin. And a lot of people are into this, oh, you got to make it thicker. No, you don't want it thicker. If anything, I would take a thinner dreadnought, which Mario has also made. And the reason for that is the attack that comes out of it. The thin body has got this fast attack. And that's what I showed Mario down on the floor. I said, listen to the way the sound comes out of the guitar. And I play the note and the sound is out. Bam, like that. And dreadnoughts, in comparison, are lazy. The body is big, and it takes the sound a while to muddle around and come out of there. And I don't know if that's something to translate to the listener necessarily, or it's something that I have, because I play the note, you see. And you don't know that I played the note until you hear the note. But to me, there's a delay. There's a very small delay. And I just tell you that when I get to a good OM, that it's just wham! It's just fast. It's there. It's an aggressive attack to me, the player. Okay, anyway, I showed Mario what I wanted. I got in a jam. I played the OM. He said, okay, I get what you're saying there. So we worked on this one. And it's got some design changes that, that's why I wanted him to make it, because he was a forward-thinking dude. The waist is a little bit more pulled out than an OM, and the shoulders are bigger, and they're square. See, it's got square shoulders here, and the waist is not as cupped in like an OM. So that's why it gets the moniker D, but it's also got a dreadnought attitude. But it's not an OM shape. And this is the one thing that I've never seen on anybody else's guitar. It's Mario's deal, is this slightly squared off shape. And Mario has some definite ideas about the transfer of sound between the lower bout and the upper bout, and how that curve in affects that. So anyways, this is the OMD. It also has, if you notice, a straight bridge on it, which is something that I didn't know anything about at the time. That was Mario's deal, because he's as influenced by Gibson as he is by Martin. So that's a Gibson influence right there. The bracing on this is pretty unique. It's got a carbon fiber bracing, which is a sandwich of spruce and carbon fiber sandwiched together. Various other tricks that Mario has, I'm not going to give away. But this is number one, and this is actually number one, OMD. We did one prototype, in which I made some changes. He suggested some changes. He wanted to hear something. I did the changes. I took braces and put braces in, and did all this. That guitar was Indian Rosewood. It was just test guitar. I sent it back to him, and then this one showed up a little while later, and there it was, OMD number one. Southeast Asian Rosewood. Some kind of spruce top. Mario's uses stuff that I have never heard of in my life. And I can't remember if this one's a red spruce top or if it's a Lutz or some sort of Canadian spruce. It's not Sitka. I don't care. People ask me, should I specify this or that or this or that? And my advice is always tell the builder what kind of sound you want and leave him alone. That works good for me. We miscommunicated on the neck, as I've talked about before. I was measuring the neck depth from the top of the strings to the bottom, and I was giving him the real playing depth. That's the feel in my hand, this depth here, including the frets, including the strings, including everything, which is easy to measure because you don't have to take the strings off or anything, and it's what you feel in your hand. He thought I was talking about the depth from the fingerboard. So when this guitar came in, it had this massively thick neck. And I hated it. Because it was a miscommunication. We talked about putting a different neck on it, blah, 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 blah. And I said, you know what? I was on my way to Winfield that year. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to shave this neck down. And if we want a different neck later on for originality, then we'll just put a different neck on it and we'll have this made. So I went to my workshop and I shaved it down and I threw real quick stain on it. Shellac French polish, and I went off to Winfield literally the next day. That was in 2003, and I have not touched this neck since. It's got little skips on it here where I was in a hurry and my scraper chattered, and I thought, well, I'll sand those out later. No, I didn't touch it. I nailed this neck profile perfectly. Smooth taper. I've calipered it too. And it does have a little bit of hump right up in here where the taper kind of comes up a little bit. But it's so far up in here that I don't even notice it. Yeah, I can see it, but it's so slight. I haven't noticed it. I've never touched it again. It's on the original frets. I don't play this guitar a lot because it is so powerful and so good that I like to be surprised by it when I play it. So when I go to a jam, anything like that, where I'm really going to play a guitar, this is the one I take. Unless I take my other OMD. And that one's a sunburst one. It's in the video here somewhere. It's a sunburst one with a walnut back inside and an Engelmann spruce top. And I put a pickup in it, so that's my gig guitar, solo guitar. And it's a little bit more of a versatile sound than this one. This one's aggressive bluegrass sound. So, I do have another OMD. That's my more solo performing. When I'm in a bluegrass situation, bluegrass jam, Winfield, this is it right here. I don't even think about it. And I like to wait until those situations because the guitar is so good that it just rocks me back, and I think, holy cow. And I don't know, it's good. The owner of that Blazer Hinks that I had in an earlier video was here, played all those guitars, and this was the last guitar he played. And he's a big dude, so being a small guitar meant nothing to him. Although he was here for an OM work, he played this and he said, "This might be the best guitar in the room." Anyway, I'll let you judge. Okay, I'm going to play them, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk a little bit more about why this one is number one, and why, as much as I love that CS Bluegrass 16, no Dreadnought will ever be my number one guitar. So, we're going to start with, I don't know, let's start with this one. It's in my hands. Okay, I'm going to run through the standard chord things that I do, and then I'll come back and I'll point out some things about what I like in each guitar and why I like them, okay? So here we go. All right, let's talk about why I like the Proulx, why no dreadnought will ever be my number one guitar. First of all, the first thing is the comfort deal. That's why I wanted a small, serious guitar to begin with, because they're comfortable. Okay, so look at the depth difference here. You can put them beside, it's an OM depth. It's got a good half an inch thinner here. I mean, it's going to be hard to show you on the camera here, but this that much thinner. The other thing is because the lower bout is smaller, my arm reaches. So I picked this guitar up and my shoulder immediately went like this. You see? I mean, that's an exaggeration, but I'm up like this, trying to play the thing. And when you get over here, let's look at the OMD. It's like a Telecaster, man. It's here. See, my shoulder is so much more relaxed. This guitar is so relaxing to me. It's less reach out here, too. On the Dreadnought, I'm like this. In fact, on the Dreadnought, I'm like this. My shoulder's up here. I'm reaching out there. I'm trying to get comfortable on that thing. And my shoulder's out. So I'm like this, trying to play. It's like trying to play a bass fiddle sometimes. This one, boom, right there, it's under my arms. Because it's half an inch smaller, makes it a whole lot easier to stand up. So I'm standing up here, and I can put the guitar right down here, and this reach out here is just so easy. My arm is right here, it's relaxed, so easy, you see? I don't have to hunch over the guitar. I just stand straight up and I play. Let's get the Dreadnought out and do the same thing. So here's the Dread. And I get up like this and look at my shoulder. See? It's way out here. The neck is way out there. Literally, I am reaching almost as far as I can, especially if I'm going to get the guitar on who I want it. I don't want it up here. I'm not Johnny Cash. I'm not a folk singer. Up here, I want it over here, and I need my hand at a certain thing, and that Dread is way out there. I can do it. I've done it. I did it for 30 years. Look at my shoulder here. See? Shoulders, way out here, and even like Charles Sautel, for instance. Charles is taller than me. He's probably 5'9", 5'8", something like that. Bigger, taller than me, but he was still a small guy compared to Tony Rice, Chris Jones, and Josh Williams. Those are guys that look good with the Dreadnought. Everybody else looks, and Jimmy Martin did, but because he could handle that thing. But so many people look so awkward with the Dreadnought. I see girls, women flat pickers, that are small, and they just got this, huge Dreadnought that they're trying to play. And I understand, because there's no great, first of all, there's a mind thing. You got to have the big Dreadnought. The second thing is that there's really not, it's hard to find really good small-bodied flat-picking guitars that can really hold up. So the comfort thing is just astonishing difference. I remember getting the OMD, and I'd had it probably 2 years, and I played a gig with Orange Star. He's a great flat picker, but 2 gigs with him because he was in my area, and then he asked me to go to Denver and open and play a couple songs with him. And I remember somebody said afterwards, we played Alabama Jubilee, And they said afterwards, gosh, Brian doesn't even look like he's working hard. And I said, yeah, I'm not. Because, I'm just standing there with the guitar hanging straight down. It's so relaxing to me. And also, I can move the guitar a little bit, If I want to do this, I can move it. And then my hand still reaches. And so the comfort thing, Okay, the other thing I noticed immediately when picking this up, and again, I'm a small dude. I'm 5'5", 5'6", 5'3", okay? And I weigh 150 pounds. The weight. The Proulx, here's your scale right here. The Proulx, I've already done this once. 1,800 grams, which is about what a good D18 weighs, by the way, because I used to measure guitars a lot more. 1,800 grams. And this one, immediately, God, I feel the weight, 2,200. So 400 grams heavier. You can go convert that over to pounds if you want to. But that's 1,000 is 2.2 pounds. So 500 is, almost a pound. 3/4 of a pound. Go do the math yourself. Do the conversion. 400 grams difference in those two guitars. And I guarantee you feel that when it's on your shoulder. Especially when your shoulder on the dread is out here and you're reaching over here and you're doing this with this big heavy, this is not even that heavy. I've played other guitars that are heavier. The weight is something. So that's something. Okay, now on the OMD, I know everybody likes the bass, but I don't. I like enough bass, but I want my trebles. I want my mid-range and I want my trebles, especially the mid-range. I want those mid-range notes. I want that mid-range to be so strong it's almost overpowering. And in fact, on this guitar, when I first got it, it's a 2002 model. Yeah, 2002. And I would tell you one thing about this is I did a neck reset on it the first year. Because it moved just enough. I did a neck reset. I also took some frets out and reshaped the fingerboard a little bit. It has a carbon fiber truss rod, non-adjustable. The performance guitar has an adjustable truss rod. But I did a neck reset on it. It's got a bolt-on neck. Not a big deal to do. Well, never is. Anyway, so I criticized the Martins, the Authentics I've been looking at. Needs a neck reset, needs a neck reset, needs a neck reset. So did my Proulx. First year, needed a neck reset. I haven't touched it since. In fact, I have not even adjusted the saddle since then. This is still the same saddle that was in it in 2003 or 2004, one or the other. And I know that because when I pulled it out, I broke it in half. And I glued it back together right here. I just glued it back together and stuck it back in there. And you can see the break right here. And I think it's a Fossil Walrus Harvey saddle. I think that's why I was saving it. I don't remember. It's got Fossil Walrus Harvey pins that actually I got from Dan Lashbrook. Dan cuts his own pins. And some customer had these and they wanted something else. And I said, I'd love to have those pins. I put them in this guitar. I don't normally use Fossil Ivy, but on the little guitar, they add a little bit more sustain, a little bit more richness and depth to it, which I don't like on the dreads necessarily. But all I can tell you is that when I put these on here, they sounded really, really good, and they're low. The heads are cut down, which is something Dan does. So the heads are really low. They sit down in the bridge. You can't get them out if you break a string. You've got to reach inside and push them up. I've never broken a string on this guitar. I know somebody's going to ask me how old the strings are. Are they the same strings? No, they're not. These are Elixirs, nano webs, and let me look in the case and let's find out how long they've been. I always write on the label because I forget, You ready? Six years? 17, 20, 23, 7, 16, that's July. Those strings have been on there for 6 years. Golly, I should change strings these days. Yeah, they're getting a little bit under there. But that'll tell you how much I play this guitar. I think I changed strings last time I went to Winfield. After Winfield. They're getting a little bit of dent on that G string. I should probably change them someday. 6 years. Whereas this one over here has got brand new Diodario. They got a little bit of wear on them. So. Okay. I want a mid-range, bright tone. And the other thing I really, really like about this guitar that I covered when I was tapping on the tops. Of course, this, it all depends on the sound, but this guitar is so loud and it's so loud that when I got it, I was coming off of Dreadnoughts. In fact, I was coming off of Collings Clarence White, the original Collings Clarence White, a 1992 model of Brazilian Rosewood Adirondack. I played that guitar for 7 years. That was my number one guitar with a bullet. I didn't think there could be anything better than that. I got this one, shaved the neck. I took them both to Winfield. I was at Winfield for an entire week. Jam. I played the Collings for 15 minutes. I took it out of the case, and I'm like, I can't play this. It was so stiff. And this guitar has got such a loose top on it. I feel that in the right hand. It's stiff but flexible. I don't know how to describe that. It's just like having really super good dirt bike suspension that moves but doesn't bottom out. You can tap on the top of this guitar, and so the feel on that right hand is just something else. Comfortable, relaxing, and barks. It was so loud that it completely changed my right hand attack. So instead of actually playing the guitar hard to get some sound out of it, I backed off so much on my right hand. In fact, I play rhythm so soft now because if I play that thrashy style like I used to do, it will drown out everybody in there. I have been in places early on when I was learning this guitar. I've been in jams where I could not hear the banjo player because I was playing the rhythm too hard. The first year that I played the rhythm like that. I could not hear the banjo player, and I had to back down a little bit. You don't want to be that loud because you've drowned out the lead singer, you've drowned out everybody, you're obnoxious. You've got to fit down into the band situation, which I've got lots of stories on that too. All right, so the top tone on this one, for instance, let's get it up here. It's a drum. I mean, when I do that, the whole guitar is shaking. The whole guitar is literally shaking from the sound effects of that sound in the guitar. The reverb effect of it. It's just astonishing. It has stuff that I've never had before in a guitar. So I started doing things like that's why I came up with this rhythm. The impact on that is a Telecaster, That's what it is. Dave McCarty said that when he played it at Winfield the first time. He said it's an acoustic Telecaster. Yeah. So this guitar, terrific. Like I said, this is my favorite Dreadnought that I played. Yeah. I like other Dreadnoughts, but this is overall, this is a good one. This is my favorite. Okay, first of all, let's listen to the It doesn't have that boom. Doesn't have that drum. So if you do that same kind of rhythm on here. I get notes, but I don't get that drum. I don't get that drum undersound that I can pull out of that. And believe me, if you were sitting here, you would feel that one. You feel this one too. You know, I'm not knocking this one, but I'm saying you would really hear that drum. It reminded me so much of a bodhran, you know, the Irish drum. There's things that I can do on that I cannot do on any other guitar that I've ever had, except for the other OMD. So, you know, you guys, probably 3/4 of you are going to like this guitar better. Oh, it's got the bass, you know. But I don't like the bass. I want enough bass, but I want mid-range and trebles. Because in my experience, that's what's going to cut, and that's what's going to come through the microphone. And that's the hardest thing to get out of a guitar. The bass is fairly easy to get. You can get bass. You scalp the braces down, scalp the back braces, you put thinner woods, thinner top, and you get the bass. But you lose all the treble in the meantime. And all you have is this big mushy basic guitar. And I've told you about this already. I had a 1935 special D28. It was one of those guitar of the months when Martin was experimenting with. And that thing was the richest, fullest, most pleasing rhythm solo guitar you could ever hope for. It was so good sounding when you're playing rhythm, and you would get to play lead, there was gone. It was nothing. I could not hear myself play lead sometimes. It had no treble, no bite. It was just all mellow warmth. And that's what I learned, that, you know what, treble cuts and sometimes those nasally guitars that you can't stand to hear all by themselves, those are the ones that cut. So, all right, anyway, so I put these two guitars head to head. I'm going to play them a little bit more. This is just playing now. I haven't played the OMD in a long time, so I should probably give it a good workout. So that's why, that's the bottom line here. We're dealing with a couple things here. We're dealing with the comfort of this guitar, that, you know, I'm just relaxed on it. My shoulder is hanging down. I can reach the entire end of the fingerboard with no problem, without even stretching. It's loud. It's got the kind of tone I want. It's got a cutting tone. One more thing about the tone. I was at a small acoustic music camp, Gerald Jones, and Sean Lane and Jason were there. As part of Blue Highway. I called them the Dirt Roads, since they weren't Blue Highway, they're the Dirt Roads. And Sean needed a guitar to play for their little duo deal. So he asked if he could borrow my guitar, so I lent him this guitar. And of course, Sean's, you know, a much bigger dude than me, and he's used to thinner necks and everything. But I sat out in the audience, and it was the first time I'd ever heard somebody really good play this guitar through a microphone at me. And it just absolutely screamed Tony Rice tone. I could not believe it. That was like hearing Tony up there, except with Sean's, you know, choice of notes and everything. And, you know, he's a fabulous player, you know, so he's responded to the guitar. But I just could not believe how much that Tony has sounded. The low action gives you that slinky sound. I don't sound like that. I mean, I'm sure I don't. I'm more cumbersome, clumsy. I'm clumsy, yeah. I got a clumsy sound. I got way too much Charles Sautel and bluesy sounds, and, you know. But listening to that guitar being played like that is just sort of like, wow. Scream Tony Rice tone. So, that's the tone of the thing. So I know it sounds good. There's been lots of other stories where when I first got it, I went to Kaufman camp. We were in that great big circle sitting there, and we were all playing. And I played, we were playing Ribbon to Ride. And I do this thing on the bass string. I had to back down on the lead in order to hear the rest of the jam circle rhythm, you know. It was just so loud in my face. It was like, wow. And of course, the guitar is fresh and new. So it's tighter in. It's even more treble, even more snappy. It's got some edge on it now, you know. And this girl that was on the other side of the circle comes walking around the circle and says, "That is the loudest guitar I've ever in my life heard." You know, point is, I learned to back off a little bit and change my right hand. So, all right, so I should revisit this guitar a little bit. Let's see what's good on it. I don't know, let's see. Get it right. I played that. That's 15 years. I literally have not played that song in 15 years. That illustrates what I'm talking about being able to have a guitar that responds to you and is working with you. This guitar definitely works with me. You know, I made some mistakes. I'm trying to remember the song, you know. Very too bad. Holy cow. What a beast. Oh, let's see. Let's try something like this. Ah, well, that's the Proulx OM. Oh, well, you can see, I mean, you know, I just get along so good with this guitar. And like I said, I don't play it enough because I like to be surprised when I do play it. It's just like that. Man, I can keep going on this thing for forever. I think I'll leave it out on the wall. I'm wasting the afternoon. All right, let's go back to this one because I am not shortcutting this guitar. This is a killer dreadnought. It's just, man, I pick it up and immediately, whew, I definitely notice that way, and it wants to fall off this way because there's more leverage on the neck. You know, the neck. It's the same scale. That's a 25, but this is farther away from my knee. It's just, that's why the reach is out here. It's just longer. It wants to fall off. Okay. So let's play some more stuff on this. See if it's inspiring. That's blackboard brass. First thing I notice is how much more effort I'm having to put into the right hand. I'm coming at it with the same right hand attack that I came on for the Proulx lighter, and it's just not. It needs more right hand attack. I've got to play it harder, which is not relaxing. I'm hearing a lot more, personally, I'm hearing a lot more of the pick noise. Maybe the pick noise will come through the mic, I don't know, but I'm definitely hearing more sitting here as a player. I'm not getting that boom, 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 boom drumming. But it's rich, you know. I mean, I don't deny the low end is richer, smoother, mellower, and this is not a mellow dreadnought. This, you know. Yeah. So let's see. Good guitar. Trying to do that. I used to have that. Yeah, there. Yeah, there it is. I'm just messing around, see what comes in my mind. So, you know, I mean, you know, as good as this is, and me, you know, it just does not, to me, have the kind of snap, punch, and stuff that I get out of this. And I'm sure that my playing has changed and evolved to suit the OMD here. That's just the way it is. So. Let's see. Too many notes there. Oh, yeah. That's why no dreadnought will ever be my number one, no matter what, no matter how good they are, no matter how good I like them. This guitar was designed for me. I made the specifications, you know what I mean? So if you were to do a custom shop Martin guitar where you walked in and said, I want it like this. There's no surprise that it would be your favorite guitar because that's what you designed it to be. And so that's what this guitar is. Not everybody could do this. It was only when I met Mario Proulx and he had that bum, 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 that drum sound in there. And I'm like, okay, you're the dude. You know, you've got to build me my guitar. So it's cool. All right, but man, I love that guitar. I would definitely, you know, if I was in Hot Rise, I wouldn't play this guitar. I'd be playing, you know, I'd be playing that D18 1937 Authentic. And I would hunch over it just like Charles Sattel, you know, and I would make it work. Because that's the sound that has to go to that band. But when I became more of a solo flat picker, or in an ensemble or something where I'm doing my sort of sound and not doing Hot Rise sound, that one right there. See you later.